Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
All kids out of the pool for Adult Swim. All kids out.
Lego Lord of the Rings Balrog raised eyebrows for what some fans say is an unfortunate pose. I see it. I see it. Oh, I see it. It's taking a piss on Gandalf.
You shall not!
And he says to her, listen, you got a fine white girl ass. So I don't like the look of this D. Listen, I don't need gay or straight boner pills. My boner works just fine.
Before you go, one question.
Yes?
Where in the galaxy is Sanusi?
Show us your tits and I'll tell you.
Yeah, I want to see movies! I think I've died and gone straight to honker heaven. Boobs are amazing.
Yes, they are. Howdy, all. Welcome to the Daily Dive, the Double Ds, the first one of 2026. We're here. We're ready to start the new year off strong. And I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready because I sort of have a show for you. We're still kind of slow on the news and the stuff like that, but I sort of have a show for you guys today. And you know, I just realized I'm getting ready to show here, and I realized because we were playing Among Us on New Year's Eve, when midnight hit, I forgot to do my first post of the new year on X Twitter, which I do. I forgot to update my rules to live by. So really quickly, I'm going to make sure you guys are up, that you see there is the upgraded rules to live by on Twitter. According to me, this is just my personal opinion. It's just my personal opinion. Yes, I know I'm not verified yet. Thank you very much. So just to remind you, rules to live by in 2026. So we're now up to 7. We started with 3, and every year I add 1. So we are now up to 7. So rule number 1, there are only 6 Star Wars movies. Rule number 2, there's only 3 Indiana Jones movies. Rule number 3, the MCU ended with Endgame, which is something we all really need to understand this year. 4, hashtag the Iron Age, independent media rising up. 5, RIP Doctor Who, which became so apparent last year. 6, be original. Don't be somebody who just is a lemming and says what others say and do original stuff. Create original ideas. And now this year's new rule, number 7, James Gunn lies. James Gunn is a liar. We must always remember that. James Gunn lies. So remember that. Remember that. These are the rules to live by in 2026. And we're going to need to live by... Excuse me. All these rules are still massively relevant. Think about it for a second. Think about it. Rule number 1. We're going to be assaulted by a lot of Disney Star Wars trash this year. We are. At least one horrible movie, because Starfighter is coming out to 27. Yeah, man, I think 27. We're still going to be assaulted by Mandalorian Gaga. And you got a whole bunch of shows and crap comics. We'll talk a little bit about Disney Star Wars in a few minutes. It's just a good reminder there are only 3 Indiana Jones movies. It's just a good reminder. That's a good reminder. The MCU ended with Endgame. That is going to become very apparent this year with the onslaught of crap around Doomsday. It's going to become very apparent. And all the other shit they're going to churn out. So that one's going to be very relevant here. Hashtag the Iron Age. Yes, the Iron Age independent media. That is really, again, also going to be relevant as myself and many others try to bring you new and fresh content, franchises, IPs, and ideas while we watch everything else we used to love pretty much rot on the vine and die. RIP Doctor Who, legitimately true, because it died last year. Even the corpse rotted even more, and we don't even know who the Doctor is anymore coming into the so-called Christmas special at the end of this year. Be original. That's kind of amazing. And now here's a new one that is, again, going to be very relevant this year. James Gunn lies. We are going to have to deal with a lot of James Gunn lying this year with Supergirl and every other DCU project and bullshit surrounding his crap comes out. So I believe these rules are all relevant. They're all relevant, and we will keep an eye on them throughout the year and see whether or not I continue to be correct with those rules to live by. I think you live by those rules as a nerd. I don't have any gaming rules on there because I haven't figured out a gaming one yet. Maybe next year I'll add a gaming rule. But these are rules to live by as a nerd. And I think if you live by them, you're going to be okay. You're going to be fine. You can survive the trenches of pop culture warfare, because we still are in a pop culture war. We still are. Don't let anybody lie to you and say it's over. It's not the same as it was for the past several years, and my glasses are smudged. Damn it. Give me a second here. Give me a second here. Can't stand smudged glasses while I'm streaming, because as I move my head, I see the smudges in my eye line, and it drives me nuts. Like, I lose concentration when that happens of what I'm saying. So as I was saying, you want to stay the course. Stay the course. Use those rules. Fight the trenches, and it's changed. We aren't battling wokeism so much anymore. We're not fighting as that stuff. We're fighting as, I would switch the term to, agenda. And do not let everything the shills and the corpos and the stands say to you as they try to shift the narrative, move the goalposts, if you want to use that metaphor. Don't believe what they tell you. The fight is still there. Don't believe the morons that say, "We won, it's over, we're winning." No, we haven't won jack shit. The moment you start doing a victory dance is the moment they come up behind you and hit you in the head with a baseball bat. That's the moment you lose. Be vigilant. Be diligent. Yeah, YouTube is asshole. Jed and Kel are right. YouTube is asshole. It's New Year, same shit. What did I wake up to yesterday? 3 subs taken away from my channel yesterday. 3. That's what I woke up to yesterday. Whatever gains I got last week wiped out in a moment because YouTube is still asshole. Never forget that. That's why hit the like button. Check if you're subscribed. Subscribe if you're new here, if you enjoy the content. We have to remain vigilant and diligent. Be vigilant and diligent. Vigilance is vigilant. Vigilance. Yeah, I can get the words right. Hey, listen. I'm not really that sick anymore. I don't have an excuse. I'm at about 95% right now. I haven't had any nasty coughing fits today. My nose is still a little wonky, but it's not terrible. What? They blocked your review, the premiere you had up yesterday? Did you show clips? Did you have clips in there? Because it might have been the clips. Did you play music? Because, of course, I mean, I didn't watch it. You know, I didn't watch it because I don't know Stranger Things. I have no point in it. But that's retarded. That's retarded. YouTube is asshole. Yeah, they are asshole. Unfortunately, it's still the best place to be. Rumble is shit. All the other ones are shit. Nothing there. But that sucks. They ignored your dispute. Well, where are they getting me? Yeah. Clips. Okay. And they took views. All right. So it's either clips or music. Keep it 10 seconds or less and spread them out. That's always my advice. So if you're putting clips in reviews, my advice always is 10 seconds. 10 seconds. You can push it to 15. That's the maximum, 15 seconds. And make sure they're spread out. And always, here's my advice too, use a fade in feature. Because if you have a fade in feature, I think that tricks the bots as well, the ones that search for the claims, because the fade in alters the video quality slightly. And yeah, So it's that's how you want that. That's the tricks I use. Only time I get hit on a review is if I have clips close together. Then it picks it up. So you want to spread them out a few minutes apart. 7 clips goes out of order. Yeah, flip. Oh, you even did the flip. Wow, you did the flip, huh? Damn. You did the flip. All right, so that's really YouTube being an asshole. That is YouTube being an asshole. And I've done I've done Netflix stuff before, and I've gotten away with Netflix reviews. So I used all the proper tricks. 7 seconds out of, yeah. So I don't know what to say, dude. YouTube sucks. That's all I can say. YouTube is asshole. YouTube is asshole. Anyway, what are we going to do today? We've got the news, but we still live in a world of Stranger Things. For a few more days, we live in a world of Stranger Things. And while I'm not going to directly myself talk about Stranger Things, because I didn't watch it. I didn't watch any of it. Never have. Likely never will. Because if y'all going to make me watch that shit, you realize how much you're going to have to shell out to make me watch all of it. And that's a lot of money. And I don't expect to do it. Who wants my opinion on it at this point? Nobody does. So we still do live in a world of strange things. So we are going to talk about it to an extent. I'm going to leave the greater discussion to tonight on Ballbusters and on Sunday, where I'll give the guys a chance, if they've watched it, to share some thoughts. But I do want to talk about it, though, in a sense of where does it place in history? And it's not a question I can answer. I'm simply going to pose the question and line up answers that I can give to the question, as opposed to those who can then answer it later. This will be a question to be answered over the next few days on streams. Jay, you're one of the few people I think that out of who I think are legitimately watching it that liked it. And I aside from stans who are calling it generational and peak and all this kind of stuff, which I don't believe anybody that said. I hear the word peak and generational, and I see people making weirdo clips. I discount their opinions. Dermy thought it was okay. When I said it sounds like to me it was aggressively mid, Dermy said to me last night that could be applied to it. Because of course I have no references. I mean, I've seen all the clips. But last night, I remember you saying that, Kel, last night when he said Static, he thought it was okay. It was okay. It's not this generational epic conclusion to something. Yeah. From what we're going to talk about this more tonight. Dermy's going to talk about it tonight on Ballbuster, so you and Dermy can really talk about it tonight. And that's also, I've heard, it's incredibly safe and predictable. There's nothing unique or creative about it from what I've heard and what I've seen. It looks odd to me from an outside perspective, but we'll get into that in a second. So we're going to talk about that. I got a couple of things. We'll go through the news and we'll see where the day takes us. But remember, new year, same rules. $10 gets you an Adam rant on just about anything. $15, ask me a question. I'll tell you no lies. We can have discussion between us. Pop culture usually is the best thing to nerd culture. Usually the best questions. Get really good conversations going. Excuse me. $15 also gets you a hot take instant reaction on an article in the news that we may come across, or one you may have found you won't react to. And $35 gets you chat. Oh, jeez. Hang on, frog in the throat. $35 gets you chat. Made me watch this reviews, episode of television or movie your choice. I review it live on the stream, and no takesy backsies, no stuff. But here's the thing. Yeah, I see what you're saying there, Jed. I've heard that. It doesn't feel like it was a massive failure, but that's why from my nose, let me tell you guys what I've done for the past 48 hours on this stuff. Hold on a second. Now, tonight on Ballbusters, I'm going to generally be silent tonight while the panel talks about it, those who watched it. But on Sunday, I have to moderate the panel. So in preparation to moderate the discussion on Stranger Things, I waded into all the different reviews that I could find online. Not video reviews, but mostly just things I could read quickly. And parsing it all from either super shills stands to the moderates to those who were super negative. What I could parse out is that it was a safe, as Jed just said, safe, predictable conclusion with plot holes that were either weakly tied up, according this is and I double checked this with Dermy last night, or very light, safe answers that, while work, are not great. At the same time, it's I just get the feeling that people who have a working brain, who are not raging for one reason or another, who are not still caught up in trying to make it a fight against wokeism or stuff like that, or not trying to make arguments that it went woke, so that's why it failed. Like, I discard all. I discard those arguments, and I discard that people are going, "This is so emotional. I was crying. I grew up with these. What am I gonna do?" I discard those. I take all those to account, but then I look at the moderates, the middle ground. People say it was okay, and I parse it all together, and I come away with it feels like it was aggressively mid. It feels like, as someone who's an objective observer who hasn't watched any of it, who doesn't know any of the lore, doesn't know any of the characters, and really know anything except what I see in clips and hear people talk about it, it feels like it was aggressively mid, which leads me to we'll go to this right now. So we're talking about, we'll go to this right now. I've asked this question for weeks, and I'm going to ask this question on Sunday. I'm not going to ask it tomorrow night because I feel like tomorrow night is not the place for it, because it's Dermy's show. And I'm just there. I've asked this question. Now that Stranger Things is over, where does it land? Where does it find a place in the, I don't want to say pantheon, let's say in the lexicon of sci-fi, fantasy, nerd culture, supernatural culture? Where does it land? And will it stand the test of time? As an objective observer, from the reactions, if you take the moderates and the negatives into account, which I think make up far more than the people who are, for some reason, obsessed with this show and find it to be their greatest thing ever, because every franchise has it. Every franchise, including Stranger Things, has a base that are hardcore for it. I will not disregard that. Will it stand the test of time? And when I look at those conversations, look at all the conversations I'm seeing, I do not think Stranger Things is something that more than a niche group of fans will rewatch ever again. That's my general feeling. It's something that a lot of people had to finish because they started. Same reason I had to finish Supernatural after 15, 16 seasons. I had started it. I had to finish it. I feel like they had to finish it to see where it was going to go. And there's the question. What does it take to become timeless? To become legendary, one might say. To become a staple of pop culture zeitgeist. Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, and the list can go. The list can then vary here and there. And I don't know if Stranger, and this is why I can't answer this question, which is why I'm going to pose it. Does Stranger Things meet the criteria, the points of discussion to be held on and remain relevant in a decade? We'll slap the decade rule on it. In 2036, will people still be talking about Stranger Things? Whether or not they make spinoffs or not, because I know there's rumored spinoffs and this and that, will people still be talking about Stranger Things a decade after its conclusion? And I'm still kind of because I only came up with this idea before I went to sleep last night as I was thinking about stuff. I haven't quite created a criteria from my perspective, but a criteria to help to remain remembered must include rewatchability. Is it rewatchable from beginning to end every season, not skipping anything? Is it rewatchable? Will you want to rewatch it? Do you have to have time between rewatching it? Is it rewatchable? Is it memorable? Is there a memorable moment? I mean, just use Star Wars and Star Trek as examples that have stood the test of time for 40 to 60 years at this point, respectively. Excuse me. Star Wars has memorable lines and scenes. Star Trek has memorable lines and scenes. I mean, everybody, the Force will be with you always. I am your father. All that kind of stuff. Star Trek, Khan! To live long and prosper. All kinds of things. Both of those are littered with it. Doctor Who, as another example, the idea of the TARDIS, the blue box, is something that is there. It is stapled. And the Doctor Who is a little bit harder because of the different. You'd have to take different moments or items. I mean, from Doctor Who, like the scarf or fezzes are cool, things like that. But it's still memorable stuff. And then maybe lesser things. You can get into gaming and you can get into other shows and franchises. But I mean, Lord of the Rings, the One Ring is for 100 years now has been something that. I mean, well, memorable. That's why. Well, see, Kel. That's why I'm saying criteria. It has to hit all these criteria. Something could be memorable, but does it then hit all the criteria? I mean, Never Ending Story has memorable stuff, but it has not stood the test of time. It's just memorable. The idea, the biggest Never Ending Story meme is the basically trauma starter kit for kids in 80s. That's more of a meme now. But that's why it's not just one thing. You have to hit all the marks. So I've got rewatchability, memorable stuff, lasting impact. That can be cool, maybe connected to memorable, but does it have a lasting impact? Is Stranger Things something that will be copied and used as a template for other things? Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, just to use these examples again, these are things that have been, these are ideas and templates for other stuff going forward. So, they do? Oh, well, again, I see. This is why I'm not answering the question. I'm simply posing the question because I don't know this. Never Ending Story is 80s, so of course, and that's the right timeline for them to talk about it. Point is this, though. Let me get back on point here. Lasting impact. Will Stranger Things, in a good way, be a template? Because I think it's a bad template for how to make current day shows. It's a bad template. Take 10 years for 5 seasons and less than 50 episodes. That's a bad template. It's bad. It's not good. And then, of course, I guess I don't know where to fit this in. Does it get represented in nerd culture? I know in the beginning, the first season, people were all like, "Oh, the Ghostbusters stuff," because I know, again, I've seen the clips. I know what it looks like. The D&D stuff. Do Stranger Things have do fans replicate it in the wild? Are you going to see Stranger Things cosplays? Are you going to see things that represent it in nerd gatherings and stuff? Is that going to happen? And I got to see. I'm going to blow my nose now because of that. Hang on. So I hope you guys are seeing where I'm going with this. I'm trying to put together a criteria, a checklist of something that meets these things, that makes it memorable, that makes it long lasting, that puts it on the shelf of we are going to come back and rewatch this decades later. So, but see, That's one thing. And I can't talk about that. I would need a discussion panel of that. So I'm just putting it out here. In 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, will people be talking about Stranger Things? When I am older and grayer, still maybe in a chair like this in front of the camera, talking about the 80th anniversary of Star Wars, will I be talking about the 40th, 50th anniversary of Stranger Things? Will it be something that people come back to? Based upon what I have been able to gather, and it's all about sticking the landing with an ending. I do not think, with an objective thing, and this is not a definitive answer. This is just a what's the word? What's the word I want? Just lost. I had the word and I lost it. I hate it when that happens. This is a this is just a what's the word? Type of evidence. Circumstantial. This is circumstantial evidence argument. Okay? It's all circumstantial evidence. I do not think it has lasting power. I do not think these characters, these worlds, this world, anything like that will have it. I mean, there is a rumored spinoff. There is a rumored spinoff. I don't know how, but there is. I don't know. And it's always going to have its diehards. Everything has its diehards who love it. But they're this much. They're that much. So I'm just going to, this is the beginning of this conversation because we're going to be talking about this for a few more days. This time next week, no one's going to be talking about Stranger Things anymore. It's going to be removed from the current moment discussion cycle. Other stuff is going to happen. New Year's going to be beginning. Things are going to be announced. Other things are going to happen. New events, stuff like that. But for a few more days, into the beginning of next week, we will be talking about this. So I wanted to make sure I had a question ready to go. Question I have been asking. You guys know I've been asking this for a while. So I'm going to wonder if we're going to get there. And yeah, the Duffer Brothers are out. They're not if I've heard the rumors, they're not show running because they don't have a deal with Netflix anymore. They don't. There is a Broadway play. I've heard about the Broadway play, which the Duffer Brothers have used as an excuse for not doing a particular plot line that I read today in the show. I feel like there's a lot of excuses being made by the Duffer Brothers for why they didn't do this and that in the show that people are asking logical questions about, from what I can understand. But I still feel that from an objective outsider perspective, Stranger Things will be forgotten by time. Stranger Things will be forgotten by time. Because it was something made in this current time of non-impactful things. Yeah. So, I mean, Jed, keep your thought, write down your thoughts or bullet point them because I want to come back to this on Sunday. I do. I want to come back to this Sunday. So I just wanted to put that out to you guys. What does it take to be lasting? What does it take to be legendary, if you want to use that term? What does it take as a title to the stream? What does it take to be remembered? What does it take to remember? Because let's be honest. Just for an example, music, themes. Themes are a way that you remember something. When you're something like Stranger Things that is relying on an era which was defined already by other things, but you incorporated it into your mythos, you're not going to be remembered for those things. Those things are already remembered. Songs, soundtracks, stuff like that. Does Stranger Things have music that we will be remembered? Like Star Trek, like Star Wars, like Doctor Who, like Lord of the Rings, once it was made live action. Excuse me. Or even if you want to go back to Rankin Bass, those Lord of the Rings Rankin Bass songs still are remembered. The wearer of the ring is the bearer of the ring. All that kind of stuff. That stuff's still remembered. Does Stranger Things have music that'll keep it out there? Not the soundtrack it basically lifted from the 80s to remind you, oh, this is an 80s setting. But will it be, does it have music make memories? That's an important thing. Music triggers memories for us. I mean, that's why John Williams is the GOAT of scoring for cinema. He has left a massive fingerprint, a handprint even, on cinema with all his scores. And some of them are legendary and epic with IPs and franchises like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, good or whatever Jurassic Park is right now, the John Williams theme endures. So these are the questions. I'm asking questions. I'm looking for answers. And maybe I'll get them on Sunday. So we'll come back to this on Sunday. So I'm gonna close this segment out now because I can't answer these questions myself because I did not watch it. All right. What else do I got? We got this. This is a news story making the rounds today. And this is why I always say, don't just read something on X Twitter. Don't just read something on Twitter. If they say there's a source, go find the source to make sure it's accurate. Read the source and understand the context to make sure we're not all just reacting, being reactionary. What am I talking about? I found this morning on Twitter. Netflix is reportedly interested in giving a 17-day theatrical window for Warner Bros. Films once they acquire the studio. Source Deadline. Now, everybody and their grandma are just quote tweeting this, replying to it, and running with that. Let's go look at the actual paragraph on Deadline, shall we? Let's zoom in a little bit here, you guys. Here's the paragraph it's in. I also, whoa, that wasn't pleasant at all. Oh, didn't even get a chance to spit that up. Oh, that I hate this sickness. Anyway, excuse me. Here's the actual paragraph that is from. Exhibition wants Netflix to commit to theatrical runs more, and the streamer will have contractual obligations to filmmakers once they complete their acquisition of Warner Brothers. Stranger Things finale is something of an olive branch to the exhibition. Stranger Things finale made $25 million this past week. $25 million, which the theaters all get to keep because of the way because Netflix did not, essentially, as I read it, adhere to guild guidelines. So they got it out, but it made $25 million. That's nice. That's good. But we're not here. We'll talk about that at a later date. We're here to talk about this right now. So Netflix. Okay. So where was I? Stranger Things finale is something of an olive branch to exhibition, and it means for Netflix to experiment and dip their toes into theatrical business. Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos has waffled in his messaging on theatrical telling analysts on an earnings call post to the success of K-pop Demon Hunters, that Netflix prioritizes their first-run movies for the service. Post Netflix firming up its bid for Warner Brothers, Sarandos has changed his tune, telling media, there's been a lot of talk about theatrical distribution, so we want to set the record straight. We are 100% committed to releasing Warner Brothers films in theaters with industry-standard windows. The town continues to worry that what traditional means for Netflix. Sources have told Deadline that Netflix have been proponents of a 17-day window, which would steamroll the theatrical business, while circuits such as AMC believe the line needs to be held around 45 days. There it is. What this says to me here is that Netflix is a proponent of shrinking it. It doesn't say they're going to do it. A lot of us believe, myself included, that Netflix taking over Warner Brothers and monkeying with theatrical releases. I don't think they're going to do good theatrical release windows. I do not. But this doesn't mean they're going to have 17-day windows. They're saying tradition. Now what's traditional? Current day traditional in the past several years is now 45 days. Well, it used to be 60 days. It used to be 90 days. So that number of what's a theatrical window is open to adjustment. It can be altered. It can be shrunk. Now, the question really is, will Netflix actively try to shrink the theatrical window so that whatever they create through Warner Brothers, if the deal goes through, remember, there's no guarantee this deal is going to happen. Will they keep it at 45 days or will they shrink it to 25 days? I don't know. But my point for bringing this up is, at least this quote is true right here, interested in giving a 70-day theatrical window. That's what they are a proponent of. That's less than 3 weeks. But everybody's saying, reacting that, oh, that's it. It's over. It's done. Movie theater theatrical run windows. It's going to be 2 weeks and over. Yeah, that's not what this said. They want to shrink it. I have no doubt in my mind that Netflix wants to shrink it. They want to shrink the window because they want to have everybody come and subscribe and watch on Netflix, because they don't want to have to, with what they did with the Stranger Things finale, they don't want to have to bend the knee to whatever guidelines there are to get a movie in theaters. They're happy to take a small hit and then have people come subscribe and watch it on Netflix in perpetuity. That's what they want. They want you to subscribe on Netflix. They want you to hit ads. They want to get paid in ad revenue. That's what they want. Netflix doesn't want to make money in movie theaters. But is the 17-day thing true? At this moment, no, that's not true. That's the bottom line. It isn't true. They want it. They're a proponent of it. It says right here. It says they're a proponent of it. It doesn't mean they're going to do it out of the gate. I don't think they could do it out of the gate. They're going to have to, because Sarandos is obviously playing politics, saying we're going to go with traditional release windows. But traditions change. That's the point you have to understand. Traditions can change. They've changed in the past few years. 45 days. Used to be 60, used to be 90. I mean, because you used to have a movie in theaters for 3 months, and then after that, it was another 4 months before you got it on DVD and Blu-ray or VHS, if you want to even go that far back. And then it was a little bit longer before you got it on some sort of digital streaming, this and that. Now, out of the theater, onto streaming within a week and pirated to hell. This is inevitable. It is inevitable that Netflix and every other streaming company that owns a movie studio, which is all of them now, they all own a movie studio. It's inevitable they are going to keep shrinking the theatrical window. But this 17-day thing, this isn't real right now. And people running around screaming, oh, it's over, they're doing it, it's dead, it's done. No. Read the actual article. Whoops, didn't want to do that. Read the actual article. It just says they have been a proponent of a 70-day window. We'll see what happens. As I said, I believe Netflix will push to shrink the theatrical window because they don't want to spend money on putting things in the theater. It's much cheaper to just put it in their catalog on Netflix and have you watch it. That's what they want. How long it takes to get to that, how long it takes to shrink it, we don't know. But the 70-day thing, this is simply people looking to get traction and get interactions. Do your research. Look it up. Don't just read a headline and go with it. All right, we're done with that. So I wanted to that happened today, and I wanted to make sure we understood what was really going on there. Oh, all right. What else do I have? What else do I have for you guys? Let's check. Let's check. You guys got anything for me? No, you don't. Okay, moving on then. Blowing my nose again because still a little teeny bit sick. Okay, sorry for that. Have to breathe. Man's got to breathe. Man's got to breathe. Okay, so what else do we have? All right, I find this one funny too. I find this one funny now. Did you guys know that it's essentially been 3 years since they announced a bunch of Disney Star Wars movies? James Crybaby Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi and the Rey movie. It's been over 1,000 days since they announced it. Basically 3 years. Essentially 3 years, give or take 20, 30, 40 days. But it's essentially 3 years. That's funny. That's funny. I find it so funny. They made such a big deal bringing Daisy Ridley out, Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy, bringing them all out there, bringing out James Mangold and all that kind of stuff, that they made all this big deal, and these movies are essentially dead. They're dead. Nothing to them. Neither of these movies, I think, will happen at this point. I don't think James Crybaby Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi, that ain't happening. They managed to get a Mandalorian Grogu movie and Starfighter movie made in before these movies were or have even have completed scripts. It shows you where they want to put their energy into the worst of their slop. I mean, don't get me wrong. This would have been slop, and this, of course, will be slop. But Dave Filoni slop is first and foremost. And of course, then they sunk over $200 million into Andor. So I just wanted to remind everybody that Rey movie was announced 3 years ago, and still nothing. Still nothing. I thought it was going to get made for the longest time. I don't think this movie gets made because even Disney understands nobody cares about Rey Skywalker. Nobody cares about Rey Palpatine. Nobody does. People barely care about Mandalorian Grogu, and they put a movie out for that shit. So I find this funny. I just wanted to get it out there, remind everybody. Even the shills realize that this has been going on, and it will never, ever happen. And if it does, well, then that's more content for me, isn't it? We got Ahsoka Season 2 this year, and Mandalorian Grogu, and a host of other crap that nobody cares about. But let's see what's going on in the news. It's time for the news. Let's see what's going on. Let's refresh. It's been a while since I had these. Let's see if we got anything from the news today. Anything at all. You guys have anything you want me to do? No, you don't. No, you don't. Okay. Here we go. All right. Victoria Jones, Tommy Lee Jones' daughter, found dead at 34. Well, that's a tragedy. I'm sorry for Tommy Lee Jones. Sorry, I don't know. I like Tommy Lee Jones. I don't know anything about him. Never opens his mouth. Good actor. That's sad. I'm sorry for him and his family. That's terrible. I hope that it was something that was just an illness and not from substance abuse, because that would be terrible. Prince's When Doves Cry and Purple Rain. Spotify streams more than double in Stranger Things for service. Okay, all right, there's my point. There's my point to what I was talking about before. Stranger Things is building off the legacy of other music, of already timeless music, rather than creating its own. Stranger Things, when you hear Purple Rain and When Doves Cry, you won't be thinking of Stranger Things. You'll be thinking of those songs. You're not going to associate them with Stranger Things because those songs are already stamped on pop culture history. Don't know what that is. Don't care. From Will Arnett to Lucy Liu, performances that shouldn't be overlooked this award seasons. Fuck award seasons. Once again, George Clooney is now a Frenchie, and there is a bit of a pushback going on to how quickly they got their citizenship to be Frenchies. So you're a Frenchie now. Fuck you, George. Fuck you anyway. 10 directors to watch in 2026. How about no? I could give fuck all about directors. Best non-alcoholic drinks worth a shot this dry January. I don't really drink much anyway. I socially drink when I'm in a social situation, and that's about it. Don't care about your music. Stephen Colbert says, don't trust billionaires when asked about major lessons 2025. They don't get rich by finding that money on the side of the road. Well, how about we don't trust you, a millionaire? How about you? You're a millionaire, Stephen Colbert. You get paid tens of millions of dollars. You did, because your show's ending this year, to stand in front of a camera, tell bad jokes that you don't even write, and basically spew propaganda. How about we don't trust you as a millionaire? How's that sound? How's that roll you? Oop, what are you doing to me? What are you doing? Whoa. What's going on here? Work variety. What are you doing to me? Don't care about music. Still don't care about that. Paul Mescal says he's rationing workload after Hamnet awards giving. I don't care about your fucking Hamnet. Disney Plus acquires Brown Bread, directorial debut of Shauna Conair, former exec at George and Amal Clooney's Justice Foundation. Wow. I'm sure that strings weren't pulled there. Yeah. Asian Film Award suspends competitive categories after Hong Kong fire. New CBS Even News anchor Tony Dokupool, that's a name, says news has put too much weight on academics and elites. The press has missed the story. Well, he's not wrong. Legacy media is shit. Stranger Things creators defend Will's coming out scene and confront toxic fan review bombing, the ultimate FU to Vecna. I am not going to comment on this. I'm not going to comment on any of this stuff. That is not for me to comment on because I didn't watch it. NPTV didn't shut down on New Year's Eve despite social media posts, but the music left a long time ago. Yeah, I saw that. People are saying that MTV shut down their music television networks last night. Apparently they didn't. Okay. But listen. MTV is irrelevant. Music videos are essentially irrelevant, at least put it in for MTV. Once upon a time, you made it big when you made your video and it got on MTV. Now you just put it up on YouTube. Just put it on YouTube. World watches it if they follow your account. Goes viral. Put it up on X. You know, MTV is an irrelevant outlet. They turned themselves into a reality hub decades ago, and they are worthless. Will Smith being sued by by tour violinists for sexual harassment and wrongful termination. Well, we'll see how that plays out. For obvious reasons, I'm not really going to comment on that. I mean, there's been a lot of Will Smith is gay jokes for a long time. So we'll see how that one plays out right there. CNN's highly anticipated Chevy Chase doc begins streaming tonight. Don't care. Best of horror. Don't care. Chevy Chase was depressed after his Fox late night show was canceled after 6 weeks. He would get in bed and not come out. I remember Chevy. I remember that. Was the violinist a dude? You know, that's a good point. I don't know. I automatically assumed it was a dude. Let's find out. All right, you know what? Let's find out real quick. Brian King Joseph. That's a dude. All right, so that's a dude. All right, so yeah, it's a dude. It's a dude. All right, there we go. Confirmed. It's a dude. I just assumed, and I was right. Yeah. Yeah. I assumed and I was right. I remember Chevy, the show. I remember that thing. Didn't last long. I was a kid, so. And Clooney crying because Trump went after him. All right, let's move over here. Not much. Let's see what we got. New Witcher expansion secretly in the works, report suggests. Well, a new Witcher 3 DLC. That would certainly be interesting. That would be interesting. Netflix reporting wants to keep moving. Okay, here's that. We already talked about that. Pokemon brings back Fat Pikachu as 30th anniversary celebration begins, while fans expect to get Gen 10 reveal next month. I was told it happens usually in March, but we'll see. I'll leave that to the Poco guys. Yeah. Your computer died? Shit. Dude. I know how that feels. When we were doing Willow, is when my computer died that time. I feel your pain, dude. That just sucks, dude. Okay. So Jed needs a new computer, guys. Go check out Endless Frontier when he can stream. Damn. How are you gonna stream? Fuck. You're gonna have to borrow Rachel's computer. You're gonna have to borrow Rachel's computer. I always defend the Return of the King in Return of the King epilogue. Stranger Things season 5 finales, lengthy ending inspired. Oh, I don't gives a fuck about epilogues. I'm fine with epilogues. Anybody complaining about an epilogue, you're full of shit. Everybody loves an epilogue. Everybody loves an epilogue. Physical copies of largely forgotten Star Wars racing game are selling for hundreds on eBay. Following reports, the title allows you to jailbreak the PS5. What? How can an old school copy, an old game, allow you to jailbreak a current gen thing? I'm not a tech guy. I wouldn't understand how that works. Expedition 33 fan wins ridiculous 8-hour boss battle with 10,545 successful parries and no dodges. Okay. I mean, why would you? Did this person do the battle and only parry and not attack? I mean, listen, it's not hard if you're wired that way to know the pattern of a mob in a game for a dodge and parry mechanic. You just have to watch it and you know the ticks. And you know I had mobs in E33 whose attacks I knew and that I could get, and there are ones that I couldn't follow. Some people can follow that shit. I can't really do it. I'm iffy. But why? I mean, to do it, to say you did it, okay, cool. But why? I guess if you're finding a way to do, that's all I could. I guess if you're just saying you did it. If it was a particularly weird boss battle with a crazy amount of parries, you do that on Simon, and then I'll give you all the respect in the world because I can barely parry any of what Simon does to you. Online, there's just so much misinformation. Stranger Things creators deny claims of Netflix interferences as season 5 Snyder Cut petition is forged without signatures. I've heard of that. That there are people out there who thinks there's an unedited version of Stranger Things where a lot of gay happens. It's mostly the queers doing this. So, of course, it's retarded. Nintendo knew Metroid Prime 4's open world hub was outdated, but couldn't backtrack and reset development yet again. I can't speak to this, so I didn't play the game. Stranger Things spinoff will explain what's inside the briefcase, creators confirm. Okay. Sure. Deus Ex lead actor says the people in charge are psychopaths as wait for new game continues. Well, they just indefinitely canceled a remaster that was coming out. They indefinitely canceled a remaster that was coming out. So I played 2 Deus Ex games. I played one on the Xbox. I rented it, not knowing that it was wasn't the first one. It was like a second or a third one. I played one on the Xbox. I rented it. And then I played the first one in this dude's series where he looks like this. I played that one once because it was on sale on Steam in 2015 for $5. So I grabbed it for $5, the Game of the Year edition or complete edition, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if it was Game of the Year edition, but yeah. It's I don't know if Deus Ex is a healthy franchise. I don't think so. Is Love and Alive or dead? Stranger Things creators on the ambiguity of the season 5 finale. We'll have to ask people about that. PlayStation 5 Plus January. Don't care about that. I just used it to play with the guys. And that's it. That's it on that. All right. Park Place. Disney temporarily alters Indiana Jones Spectacular after the Boulder incident we talked about the other day. 2025 box office failed to meet even Hollywood's lowered expectations. Gee, wow, where have you been? We already knew this. Selfish Defense, Stranger Things, we'll see. We're talking about that. Alphabet Mafia content appears in nearly half of Netflix kids shows, new study finds. Oh, there you go. There you go. That's not good. Nintendo outlines design approach for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and why it avoided full open world. Heroic Disney World casting. Okay, all right. So that's pretty much it. That's the news. I'm sticking to it. All right. So the news is starting to move again. We're starting to see news again. You guys got anything got going on for me today? Yeah. $20 from Kel because it was a dude. Lol. Thank you, Kel, for the $20. Yeah, because it was a dude. Hey, instinct. It had to be a dude. It had to be a dude. Anyway. All right. So I'll give you guys a few minutes. Let's talk about the rest of the weekend, which we'll see what's going on. So tonight, it's Friday. It doesn't feel like it's Friday because of the holiday week, but it's Friday, which means we got Ball Busters tonight. Jeremy has a plan. Whether the plan will succeed, we don't know. I want to do a gaming stream today. I really want to stream some more Dragon Quest 3, but I don't know if I have time. With the way my regular Friday day goes. So we'll find out. We'll see. Stay tuned for that. Tomorrow's Saturday. Well, we're supposed to do Lethal Weapon 2 for driving, but Jed's computer just died. Now he can go use Rachel's computer, so I'm going to assume driving's going to happen tomorrow because Jed can still bogart his wife's computer. But so I'm assuming driving's going to happen. We'll do Lethal Weapon 2 tomorrow. Then let's see. Sunday roundtable 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll talk about box office. We'll see how Avatar 3 is doing. We will talk about. I'm going to ask a bunch of questions that I've been posing to the panel. We're going to talk about Stranger Things. We're going to ask the question asked today. We're going to ask about. We'll do a little 2026 probing, and a couple other things. We'll see how it goes. And then of course we'll start the week off for fresh, new, brand new 2026 week next week. I hope to see you guys there. We're going to be going up strong. Now, I am going to be putting out a poll next week for you guys because I want to, as I said, I want to do more of the positive content, the evergreen content. I want to do a Nerdgasm this month, but I can't decide on what. So next week, Monday, starting Monday, it's going to run from Monday to Friday. We'll do a poll and see which IP and discussion for a Nerdgasm you guys want to see. I want to do a Nerdgasm this month. I want to do a Nerdgasm once a month. That's my goal. Do a Nerdgasm once a month so that we can just nerd out properly. So do that. And of course, we'll see where next week takes us as we try to jumpstart the new year, get going, have a lot of fun, grow the channel, enjoy you guys, have what you guys haven't, what you guys continue to enjoy, have be out there. So with that said, aside from Kel's $20 because it was a dude, we got anything else on the day? No, I don't think so. Looks like we are going to be done. We've just about hit the hour in a few seconds, so I can ramble on for a couple more seconds anyway. So thank you guys for joining me today. Hit that like button. Subscribe right here. The Renaissance Nerd. It's a new year. It's 2026. Let's make this the year of greatness. I'm ready for it. You're ready for it. The world is ready to experience the retardation that I deliver to you guys on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. All right, guys. I'll see you guys down on Ball Busters, maybe on a gaming stream. Until then, You guys take it easy. Have a good rest of your day.